Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming home on a Monday, the day after the Super Bowl. Honestly, a pretty good day at work. Really easy. Not really many people in the store at all today. But day late, dollar short. I think this news broke on Saturday, and names keep on kind of getting rolled out about WWE releases. I'll tell you the truth. Only names that I really knew, that I really cared about, that was a big deal to me, was Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, the Good Brothers, getting released from WWE. Their last run, it seemed that it lasted a year and a half. It honestly was a really big surprise. You remember that when Carl Anderson came to WWE, it was just kind of like a surprise drop in with AJ Styles. AJ needed some backup. Who was beating AJ up at the time that he had to come in and help him out? I really can't remember. They came in and they started having some six-mans, them rejoining the OC or the club, whatever you want to call it. Their run, it wasn't great. I mean, AJ ended up, dropping them, trying to go solo with a heel attitude. He really didn't know what was going on, with the OC. Were they on the same page? Michin, started doing her own shit off to the side, as well. But I'll tell you the truth. It sucks for them. I think that WWE was a good paycheck for them. That, when it comes to like listening to their podcast, Talking Shop, which I feel like I've listened to since it was on MLW. I want to say as long as it's been on. If I had to guess, like 2013, 2014, when they were making those shows over in Japan. I still remember when they would come back. The shows would be horrible because they would try to do them on the road. I remember one with Luke Gallows and Knox they did in the car. But I don't know. From the last time that they were released and they brought back Talking Shop for the second time, and then they started doing the vlogs on YouTube, I went looking for them. And it seems like they've taken them all down with their new sort of reborn life, trying to be good brothers, on the up and up. Carl Anderson, he hasn't been drinking in over a year. And, I think a lot of those videos they just took down. But I seem that, remember watching those videos of Carl Anderson at home. And that's when I kind of it's weird to say, but I really cared about him more than the character. And he's a guy that I root for. I want to be on the up and up every single time. There was a t-shirt or something like that, I bought the shirt because I was a real fan of that dude. I remember the vlog he made of watching the Super Bowl when his Bengals lost, and just feeling for him. I didn't really have a care in the world if the Bengals won that Super Bowl or not, but I wanted them to win just for him. But I'll tell you the truth, right now, the world is open to them. I mean, they talked about the fact that even though he's rehabbing his shoulder and trying to get back to wrestling as soon as he can, they talked about wanting to do more Talking Shops. It seemed like they're up to 2, sometimes 3 shows a week. And I know they did a Royal Rumble special and things like that. They really want Talking Shop to be a real show. You can tell that, from listening to the sports radio, Carl Anderson, he's a real big fan of Jim Rome. He wants the show, and he doesn't want to be taking calls from the clones and stuff like that, talking about sports. But, they want to be talking about wrestling and about Bitcoin and aliens and, Bigfoot and stuff like that as much as they can. But I think when it comes down to it, they want to get back to wrestling. As a wrestling fan, I've never met the Good Brothers. And honestly, the first thing that happened when I read they got released, I was like, oh, gosh, that sucks. They make a good amount of money. It's not my money. I don't care how much money WWE pays them. But I mean, to be not being on the main roster, not being on shows, and I really never really understood that. Even during their first run, I remember one time they showed up in a Survivor Series tag team match, and I was like, I can't even remember the last time I saw these dudes on TV, and I just don't understand why they're not using them. But I felt like, I think I'm going to have a really good shot at meeting these guys for the first time at WrestleCon, which I think is going to be awesome. I think that's going to be a really, really cool experience. But, I mean, they could go to TNA. TNA has always had this kind of thought of bringing in the ex-WWE guys. They have a good chance of going to AEW. Never really made sense to me why they never went to AEW. It seemed like they were going to go there the first time their contract came up. They were going to jump. They ended up re-signing, and then they got released. They didn't go there. They ended up going to TNA. I don't know if it was just more money here or there. They had a really, really good run in TNA. And it seems like that was somewhere where they really wanted to be, but I'm sure WWE wanted to pay them more money to do it. I never really understood why they never really fit there. 2016, they had really, really good matches. They did that nerd thing, which I was rooting for them, but it kind of sucked. It didn't really make a lot of sense for them to be like big, huge, imposing heels, calling guys nerds. It got over, but I mean, I think it hurt them in the long run, is my guess. But I really root for these guys. I really hope. I don't really watch Japan as much as I once did when the Bullet Club was really, really hot back in like 2013, 2014. I don't remember the last big show from Japan that I watched. This year came and went, and I was like, I didn't even get a thought to think if I was gonna watch Wrestle Kingdom this year. But they can go do that. AEW, TNA, any door that's open, I'm sure they'll open it, and I'll be there rooting for them. And I think that's gonna be awesome. But so it sucks these guys got released, but at this point right now, I mean, if you can go and you want to go, I mean, the wrestling world's going to take you. You look at guys like Matt Cardona, who's a bigger name now than he's ever been when he was wrestling at Zack Ryder in WWE. With being friends with the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, I mean, the Good Brothers, they had one Super 7 set that came out. One ended up getting deleted because they didn't sell enough on the second series. They had the Wrestle Bendy. I'm all about it. I want some some big rubber guys of the Good Brothers. I think that would be fucking awesome. So I know they're cooking on something right now. There was no show today. Monday had been a normal drop, so I'm kind of hoping for the Wednesday/Thursday drop this week. It sucks. I mean, you don't want to turn the podcast thing on when you know it's going to be bad news right out of the gate, and you're just like, oh, we got fired again. How do you really spin that into, good news? I mean, basically, I think they got to come up with a plan and say this is it, and I believe in these dudes. I think they're going to hit the ground running no matter which direction they go. And, they're both new fathers. I'm sure they wanted to take some time off to be home as long as they can. The money that they're bringing in off Bitcoin and XRP, I'm sure they'll be able to do it for a good while. So, WrestleCon, I'll be looking forward to meeting these guys big time. They're high on my list. I'm sure they'll be announced sooner than later.